moment his wings were revealed, Nosgoth trembled.
It's been 22 years since the last Legacy of Kain game, and to be frank, I thought the story of Nosgoth is over and done with. But apparently not. I should have expected something new with the IP after the Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remaster came out in 2024, but I didn't. And the announcement of a new Legacy of Kain game came as a complete surprise. So I've analyzed all the info I could find and watched the trailer multiple times and found 10 major confirmed things about Legacy of Kain Ascendance. So what is Ascendance really all about? Ascendance looks and feels like an experiment, testing the waters, if you will. It's the first new Legacy of Kain game in over a decade, and departing from the typical 3D game to a 2D side-scrolling action platformer title. This feels like the publishers are testing the waters, creating a smaller and cheaper game in the IP to see the engagement and sales figures, and use those to see if the IP is worth reinvesting in. As for the game itself, developers emphasize that while the structure has changed, the atmosphere remains bleak and oppressive, ensuring the structure feels both familiar and unexpected, without sacrificing the series' signature heavy storytelling and character-driven drama. How does the trailer feel moment to moment? The trailer opens with an animated 2D version of the same opening as Soul Reaver, with Raziel showing off his wings and getting them ripped off. Then it shows the gameplay of the 3 playable characters. From what we can see, the winged Raziel, Kain, and Elileth. More on that later. One thing I've noticed though is the talking head for Kain looks very different from the Kain we see in the previous games, as well as the Legacy of Kain Defiance remaster that's coming alongside Ascendance. We see fan-favorite characters, more gameplay, some beautiful pixel art, and the closing line, "Ascendance isn't granted, it is earned with blood." What can we glean from this then? Well, like the previous games, time-hopping shenanigans are afoot, and we see different characters in the different eras and different states of being. What kind of game are we actually looking at? The game is described as a fast, 2D retro action platformer built around vertical movement, fluid combat, and skill-driven play. But given that it is announced alongside Castlevania Belmont's Curse, I can't help but compare the two games and spot a lot of similarities. I personally suspect that this is going to be a Metroidvania, or at least a Metroidvania Lite. The Blood Omen games have always had Metroidvania roots, with the first game in the series straight up just being a mature Zelda-like game with Metroidvania-style ability gate progression. All the games in the series have you getting abilities to unlock previous secrets and solve increasingly complex puzzles and combat encounters. So why would this game be any different? Prime evidence to support my theory is the second gameplay clip, where we can see Kain mist walk through a very Castlevania thing to do if you ask me. But with this whole time hopping and playing as different characters thing going on, well, maybe I'm wrong. We'll just have to wait and see. What does this new Nosgoth look like? Visually, Nosgoth is rendered in detailed pixel art, depicting a world in varying states of decay, from fields of desolation to dying forests and crumbling ruins. This is in line with the medieval gothic post-apocalyptic aesthetic that the other games have, and also plays into the Shattered Timelines theme, creating a fragmented, haunting atmosphere. The developers have opted for a mixed media approach. While the core gameplay is presented in 2D pixel art, key narrative moments switch to 3D sequences inspired by the PS1 era, along with anime-influenced cinematics for major plot points, blending retro and modern styles that also play into the Shattered Timelines theme as well. What story hints are hiding in the trailer? The trailer and official descriptions confirm a narrative structure defined by fractured timelines and multiple perspectives across Nosgoth's history, rather than a traditional linear story. Crystal Dynamics officially categorizes the game as a prequel, yet simultaneously states that players will hop between different points in the timeline via the time streamer Mobius, which allows the story to unfold across multiple eras, allowing the player to unravel the past in a world of collapsing kingdoms, while connecting the familiar characters and moments from the series' lore. Although the exact chronological placement is complicated by this shattered setting, the game is confirmed to feature distinct historical periods, including Raziel's human life as a Sarapha knight and his early vampire years, which suggests it functions as a narrative lead-in to Soul Reaver, while revisiting and recontextualizing events that span the gap between Blood Omen and Defiance. What do we actually get to play as? The game breaks its narrative into 4 distinct perspectives, allowing players to control 4 key figures from Nosgoth's history. Each character offers unique mechanics and a different perspective on the story and timeline. Kain, the vampire lord himself. In the trailer, he is the imposing figure with what appears to be more of a tank build, and whose attitude is exactly what we expect from Kain. Human Raziel. Before his fall, Raziel appears as a high-ranking Seraphon knight. Look for the character in a blue accented armor and flowing red cape, wielding a polearm or pike, showcasing his life as a holy warrior before his corruption. Vampire Raziel, the newly turned lieutenant of Kain's empire. Distinct from his latter skeletal wraith form in Soul Reaver, this version still possesses his flesh and, most importantly, his intact bat-like wings, allowing for the flight mechanics shown in the footage. Elileth, a character previously only seen in the graphic novels The Dead Shall Rise. She is the female vampire with a long, thin blade and raven's wings, and it's hard to get a read on her playstyle, as she appears to have maybe a hybrid of a vampire Raziel and Kain. Well, who knows at this point? Why does the audio hit Legacy of Kain fans so hard? The trailer's emotional weight is delivered with its soundscape, which is like a bridge between the previous games and this new future direction for the series, with electronic rock musician Dweller providing the original score, shifting between brooding atmospheric tracks and frantic industrial beats that match the brutal gameplay. However, the true key point for longtime fans is the voice work. Crystal Dynamics has confirmed the return of the series' iconic cast: Simon Templeman as Kain, Michael Bell as Raziel, Anna Gunn as Ariel, and Richard Doyle as Mobius. Hearing these specific voices deliver new lines over the pixel art visuals lessens the idea that this is a spin-off or a Gaiden game. The presence of the original actors lends legitimacy to the game. Who is making this, and what are they trying to do? Ascendance is being developed by Bitbot Media in association with Freak Zone Games, and is published and overseen by franchise steward Crystal Dynamics. Bitbot Media has only made 3 other games before, all of them retro platformers, so the quality of the game itself is a bit in the air if I'm being honest. Their stated intent is a respectful reinvention rather than a reliance on the brand name and nostalgia. By shifting the series into a fast-paced 2D action platformer format, the team says they aim to introduce a new stylistic direction that prioritizes momentum and fluid combat. However, they emphasize that this modern pacing is designed to coexist with and not replace the series' identity, promising that the dark gothic world of Nosgoth and its dense, fate-heavy mythology remain the foundation of the experience. Long story short, although this is a mainline entry, it's not trying to rock the boat too much or introduce anything too new, just rehashing the events that have already happened and clearing up the story in this new gameplay style. How does the trailer fit the bigger 2026 Legacy of Kain comeback? The trailer isn't a standalone announcement, it's the second half of a coordinated double-dose revival designed to formally resurrect the franchise in March 2026. Ascendance, releasing March 31, is launching less than a month after Legacy of Kain Defiance remastered on March 3rd, creating a tight release window that Crystal Dynamics is pitching as a definitive Legacy of Kain is back event. By pairing a fateful remaster for the fans with a bold new entry for the future, and even bundling them in the Heart of Darkness collection, the publisher is signaling that this is going to be a return of the franchise. I do have to admit I'm a bit skeptical about the game at first. I wasn't too impressed that they took a traditionally 3D action puzzle game and made it into a 2D action platformer, and seeing it announced alongside Castlevania Belmont's Curse didn't help. But after reading into this, I can see that it is a game of passion, as the Legacy of Kain games have always had a passionate fanbase that has kept it alive for over 20 years. So I really do hope the series gets revived with this new entry. How about you guys? What do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. A subscription is the best way to be updated on all our latest content. This is John of Marvelous Gamers. I'll see you on the next video.